us on our social media platforms at TV47KE on Facebook, Twitter, and even Instagram. Now, a handful of stories prepared for you this hour, including members of the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union are currently addressing the press on the country's preparedness following the Ebola outbreak in Uganda. Let's listen in.
Funds that were meant to give kickbacks. There were 10%ers kickbacks. None of those structures exist now. Yes. And the healthcare system is supposed to be a continuum, right? That even as we are telling the country to prepare for it, just like we said at that time, we are also for the welfare of our members, and it's not lost to us that you're keen to oversight and in a very razor-sharp focus the promises as given by the President, especially on the Health Service Commission and the 47 counties. And we take this opportunity not to congratulate the governors because they've been employed to do hard work. It's meant to be hard work, not something to congratulate about. And that we look forward to a 5 years that will have no industrial strikes by the doctors. But if it happens, you know to blame, and it's not us.
Yes.
For every case report or a new emerging disease, what happens is that you're given a case summary, yes, because you have to have a log, suspected symptoms, then after that how to deal with it. Ebola is not COVID. Ebola can penetrate even uncut skin. Then the strain, the Sudanese strain, which is so rare, is even more contagious with a fatality approaching 90%, right?
No vaccine.
We went to school 10 years ago. These are new emerging cases. You have to be trained every day. You can't be treated by Google doctors. You need to keep abreast with technology as it happens in countries that are well governed.
Solidarity.
Solidarity forever.
And most definitely our very own Elizabeth Atieno, health reporter, is there and will be giving you the latest on our subsequent 7 and 9 bulletins. Now to the state of the nation. President William Ruto, in his inaugural address to the bicameral parliament on Thursday, revived a proposal to impose high taxes on Kenya's super rich and high income earners, endorsing the introduction of a wealth tax that failed to sail through parliament over the past 4 years. But what impact will this have on the common mwananchi? Economic experts are of the view that the president is walking a tightrope of balancing between fulfilling expensive campaign pledges with limited capital.
Followed close.
The move by President William Ruto to hint at the possibility of introducing new tax measures has sent a chill down the spine of millions of Kenyans who already feel overburdened by the yoke of taxation.
Is watching and participating.
In his address to the bicameral parliament on Thursday, the president said it is not fair to overtax trade and undertax wealth.
This is best achieved by a hierarchy that taxes wealth, then consumption, then incomes, and lastly trade, in that order of preference, so that those who are wealthy and have the capacity to pay should pay more.
Experts are on the view that the president is walking a tightrope of balancing between fulfilling expensive campaign pledges with a limited capital.
So I think that is a very fair point to start, so that everybody will be able to contribute equally or proportionately for whatever he's able to do or whatever he wants in terms of the way we consume the benefits of being in this country or being a citizen of this country.
While referring to the tax reforms made in the United States of America, Professor Frederick Ogola, a lecturer at the University of Strathmore, is on the school of thought that the move is just a band-aid.
His challenge is to move this twice, which means that he should be leaving Kenyan economy when it is around 22 trillion if he is growing by the same rate. 22 trillion is not easy because once the economy becomes bigger, the growth rate becomes even slower. Because you can grow something which is small faster, but you can't grow a very big thing faster like the other predecessors on that.
It will be a wait and watch to see how the president will navigate the Kenya Kwanza ship, with millions of Kenyans waiting on the pledge to reduce the cost of living and improve their business, says Stanley Nyeringita, TV47, Nairobi. Right now to some county politics, and members of the clergy in Bungoma County have called on the National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula to back former Bumula MP Mwambu Mabonga to become the next county senator in the upcoming by-election. Addressing the press at Mwambu's home in Muyenga, Bumula constituency, during a prayer session that was attended by church leaders from across Bungoma County, the members of the clergy appealed to Bungoma residents and all Kenya Kwanza leaders to rally behind Mwambu's candidature. The race has so far attracted over 10 candidates, with the National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula said to have endorsed his longtime aide Wafula Wakoli for the position.
He supports himself. He has that power. He has that power of articulating himself, and he's a man who can face issues as a man. So me as an ex-senior chief, what I can see and feel, all elected leaders of this county, we bury our politics behind. Politics is gone. We are looking for development, and Bungoma can only walk ahead, can go far with one representation.
Ni mtu ambaye ako na ukakamavu ulio wa ajabu kwa ajili ya kusukuma hii kaunti yetu ya Bungoma kwa ajili ya useneti. Nataka pia kushukuru Honorable Speaker wa bunge ambaye amepewa nafasi kubwa. Hiyo nafasi rahisi.
But what I'm appealing to watu ya Bungoma, na hii jana nilisema ama juzi nilisema kwa radio, ya kwamba hii kiti ya useneta si kiti ambayo unaweza ambiwa pikia mtu fulani kura. Nataka ukae chini ufikirie we mwenyewe. Kazi ya Senate ni nini? Kulinda ukatusi, kuchunga rasilimali zetu katika Bungoma hii, na uangalie wale watu wametangaza kusimama. The experience they have, the social capital they have, the political capital they have, and the courage they have to face issues when they emerge in this county. I have no doubt in my mind that Mwambu Mabonga meets the bill. Nitatembea katika kila sehemu katika kaunti hii nikiomba kura kwa unyenyekevu ili watu wa Bungoma wafanye huo uamuzi. Nitaomba pia kiongozi wetu ambaye katika mrengo wa Kenya Kwanza katika sehemu hii ambaye ni Speaker Moses Wetangula, nitaomba kura yake.
Meanwhile, the Kenya Kwanza nominee for the position of Prime Cabinet Secretary, Musalia Mudavadi, has reiterated that the Kenya Kwanza government under President William Ruto's stewardship is ready to work around the clock to ensure that the recovery efforts to ailing the economy are realized and Kenya's economic growth is brought back to its positive course. Speaking when he attended the Hindu Brahmotsava Mahotsavam celebrations at the Sri Kalyana Venkatesewa Temple in Spring Valley, Lower Kabete, Nairobi County, Mudavadi pointed out that the Kenya Kwanza government is ready to partner with all like-minded individuals, corporates and investors, both local and foreign, in ensuring that the right trajectory is taken to support the economy bounce back to its positive growth.
We are not sitting pretty at this point in time, and therefore it will call again for our effort to pull together so that we can start moving forward more aggressively, create the jobs that are needed, put food on the table for the many Kenyans that are needy. We can now move forward now that the politicking is behind us. It is now time to really pull together, get the country together, be more accountable, be more united, so that Kenya can be a nation that we are all proud of.
And away from that, President William Ruto has been lauded for going out of his way to appoint 3 cabinet secretaries from the Ukambani region into his government, despite having gotten few votes from the region. Mwingi Central legislator Gideon Mulyungi has urged President Ruto to actualize the promise he made to Mwingi residents during campaigns, that he will ensure that Mwingi becomes a county.
Wakati alitangaza mawaziri yake, alituandikia mawaziri watatu, watoto wetu kutoka Ukambani. Akashinda Uhuru Kenyatta ambaye alikuwa nimetuandikia mtoto mmoja. Kwa sababu ulisema ya kwamba utashughulikia mambo ya maji, utahakikisha kila nyumba itapata maji. Mambo ya njaa, utahakikishia Kenya imepata chakula, umepeana fertilizer, na mahali kuko na njaa ukasema utapeana msaada. Wakati tutakuwa tukibadilisha katiba, tukiweka CDF hapo ndani na mambo ingine ile unataka iwekwe ndani, ukumbuke kutuwekea mwingi kama kaunti moja ile utaongezea katika Kenya.
Now to some education matters. Due to high cases of unemployment among the youth in the country, youth who completed the secondary education and those who have failed to complete have been urged to consider taking beauty courses in technical vocational institutes because they are marketable. Speaking during the third graduation ceremony of the Glemerland Technical Vocational Institute in Embu County, Chief Principal Meru Teachers College, Dr. Faith Gichovi, said many youth lack employment opportunities after failing to secure admission in universities and should instead embrace such courses. Sentiments that were echoed by Professor Kabiru Gatumo of St. Paul's University, who said there is need to guide the youth along the right career path.
Is anything which can reduce unemployment is this vocational training. Now, I would also want to speak to the government, both national and county. If there is anything that can transform this country, is paying and giving much attention, even budgetary attention, to TVET trainings. Because this is a hard-on, where people work for themselves with their hands and they earn a living.
We especially wanted to challenge the government and the county government. We have been left without support. May we be supported to ensure that as partners in the private sector and the public sector, to encourage and give education. Bursaries that come, why don't they be pumped into this sector so that mtoto wa masikini apate nafasi to become better in their life. The stigma that may appear to be there for men to join this sector.
To County 001, Kongowea residents in Nyali constituency, Mombasa County have called on the government to intervene after a private developer allegedly destroyed a section of the stormwater system. The residents want the construction works adjacent to the community halted immediately, arguing that since the construction began, the houses have been flooding.
Twaomba mulichukulia maanani, haya ni matatizo ya kitambo. Saa hii shida ni hili kuta limewekwa hapa nyuma yangu, limewekwa kitambo ili kuficha maovu yanayofanyika hapa, na kutoka serikali za nyuma wameyaona maafa na tumepeleka ripoti zetu, lakini tuadharauliwa. Lakini tuna imani na serikali iliyoingia saa hii itatuthamini maombi yetu na watahusika haraka iwezekanavyo. Huu ujenzi unaoendelea hapa nyuma usimamishwe, sababu kuna vurugwa system ya drainage system ya water storm ambao kwamba imebeba mji mzima wetu wa Kongowea, si chini ya watu 20,000 na huku mbele karibu na hiyo system maji yanapofurika na tuingilia katika majumba. Tumechoka majumba yetu kuozeshwa namna hii.
Kilio chetu hichi kama walivyotoa ahadi, kuna makatel ambao walikuwa walisema ulituahidi ukibwaga Biblia utapambana nao. Kwa hiyo tunaomba uje uanze nao waliokuwa hapo, kwa sababu hapa kuna drainage system ambao ndo maji yote ya Kongowea yanapitana hapa na mwagwa baharini. Drainage system inafinikwa, barabara imeondolewa. Sisi hapa kwa wakati wote mvua ikinyesha hizi nyumba zitalala chini.
Angalia hizi nyumba, kiziangalia hapa nyuma vipi ziko zimejaa maji. Nyumba zimezama na hizi nyumba zimejengwa kitambo toka miaka 50 ziko hapa. Wazee wetu wamezijenga na sisi tumerithi.
Now to something biting the country quite hard. Leaders from the northeastern region have urged President William Ruto to highlight the issue of drought and declare it as a national disaster. According to the leaders, thousands of residents in the region have no food, urging the government to intervene to save lives.
About drought. Currently, we are faced with a very serious drought that in the history of northern Kenya, such serious drought we cannot remember, actually. The rains have failed for the last 4 consecutive rain seasons. The situation is very, very, very dear now as we talk. We have lost almost all livestock, which means his livelihood. The next thing is human life is in serious danger.
I don't think if the government has done enough, the issue of the drought. The drought has been there. It is still with us for about 5 years now. Animals have been lost. Human lives are in a very serious situation. The government just recently, last week, has flagged off some food or relief food, which is a very, very small amount of food, which even is not enough to a quarter of the affected population.
Elsewhere, Kitale Matatu directors have protested a move by the Trans Nzoia County government to require them to don in full uniform in order to discharge their duties at the Kitale bus terminus. They're calling on current Governor George Natembeya to halt the move. However, Natembeya, in a quick rejoinder, has promised to hold talks with the Matatu operators.
Natembeya, nataka nimweleze, ni mwezi mmoja tangu ameingia kwa ofisi na amekuta hao vijana wakifanya kazi hapa. Tumekaa hapa ndani miaka mingi. Kuna wengine hapa waliingia wakiwa vijana, sasa ni wazee na wamefanya kazi hapa kwa stage. Mambo ya kufikiria kwamba atakuja kutoa hata kijana mmoja ndani ya hii pass park.
Tunasema hivi ama nasema hivi, hatutakubali mtu atunyanyase, na tunasema kutokea saa hii Jose, ukisikia tunaenda kamata bro box yo na ndio napiga fine. Sio county napiga fine. Pesa tena kwa mikono ya wana director. Kwa sababu wamemaliza muda wao yote, leo wameitwa, hakuna kitu wanaambiwa.
Kuwa na ofisi ndani ya stage. Baada ya hapo wakatunyang'anya ofisi. Unaweza kuwaje director ndani ya stage na una ofisi? Tutakuwa tunafanya kazi gani? In case of anything, director yote akifanya makosa yote tunamwita kwa ofisi yetu. Lakini sasa sisi.
And still on the same note, Insurance Regulatory Authority has pleaded with border operators to take up insurance covers in the wake of the increased road carnage. Speaking during a sensitization meeting in Kerugoya, the director said that the authority has sealed all the loopholes where insurance agencies used to take advantage of the policyholders, and thus people should not fear to insure their properties. Families have been impoverished after selling all their properties to cater for border accident victims in hospitals, a matter that can be addressed by ensuring only insured vehicles are on the roads.
Tunaendesha gari hazina insurance cover, and we don't think that is serious until we find ourselves in an accident. Let us ensure that all of us, each one of us, has a cover. Usiendesha gari kwa barabara kama hauna insurance.
When you are a SACCO, and the strength and therefore the ability to be able to get these covers. So I can say there is a great change since that introduction, and the Bonda industry is going to change tremendously.
Right, listen to this next story. A 2020 report shows that over 50% of Kenyan children have accessed pornography online, and while these numbers are disheartening, what is more shocking is the number of minors falling into pornography addiction. Beatrice Watare reports.
Now, the sex topic is one that parents shy away from, especially with their kids and those in their early teens. But this does not necessarily mean that the kids will not be exposed to graphic images and pornographic materials, even as they browse through the internet studying. Join me in this fact-filled feature as I explore matters pornography, as well as the addiction that comes with it.
Online, most people, if not all, get exposed to the not so good, the bad, and the outright dangerous world of adult content. The report by the National Plan of Action to Combat Online Child Sexual Exploitation and Abuse says that 67% of children aged between 12 and 17 have accessed the internet, with the majority of them without guidance on how to safely navigate the internet space, the largest percentage of a 5-country survey. These numbers representing the reality on the ground of children who find themselves deep into the downward spiral of pornography addiction. A conversation with Sam, not his real name, who battled a recovery from porn addiction for 5 years, is one that opened my eyes to just how easy it is to get hooked at a young age without proper support and guidance from parents. He narrates how he watched the very first explicit film before the age of 18 years.
So there were these friends I had. So one of my friends is the one who introduced me to those movies. So we went there and we watched, but I was still a teen. I was below 18. So after I watched, so I would maybe look for an opportunity. If I go and watch. But the time when I became so much used to is when I completed high school and I was able to get my first smartphone. Then I went to campus, so I had my phone, I had my laptop, and there was free Wi-Fi. So I think that was the time where now it became like a habit.
More than 85 research studies have linked poor mental health and emotional health to porn use, and Sam was one of those affected, as his grades in school were greatly affected too. Sam knew he needed help, and he sought it in the hands of Ruth, a former porn addict, counselor and founder of Second Chance Consults that helps rehabilitate porn addicts. His efforts were not in vain.
And this is the time when I saw Ruth's story online. I think she had an interview with Daily Nation. So I looked for that link. I read the story. And then when I read the story, that's when I knew that. So when I read the story, I identified with it. So I knew this is something that I'm going through. And this person so willing to help me overcome it. So I felt this is where maybe my help could come from.
For some of them, it's a friend invited me to watch pornography. Whatever the case, it doesn't matter the story. The fact is that we are here. And so we have to work through the trauma. Because you see, again, addiction is like a mango, is the mango we see. But the mango will always come in season until we kill the tree.
In March 2021, Garissa Township MP Aden Duale received a public backlash when he proposed a bill seeking to criminalize publication of pornographic material by amending the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act 2018, which even after sailing through in Parliament was challenged all the way to the Court of Appeal, with those against the new law warning that the bill violates freedom of expression. It is this situation that has rubbed the church the wrong way, with Reverend Elijah of St. Paul striking a conciliatory tone, urging the public not to judge those who find themselves in the bondage of pornography addiction.
So that love, reaching out to them in love, helping them know that future is brighter and better for them, and helping them to understand that whatever is happening, it is possible to change.
A society suffers when individualism kicks in, and the effects